What did Luigi Mangione yell at reporters on December 9th, 2024, per the police officer that escorted him out and also helped arrest him? Find out now on LA Mag's Daily Pop Culture, Scandals, and Crime News, Luigi Mangione edition. I have been in the courtroom every single day for all 6 days of his current suppression hearings. I guess technically it's been 5 days of testimony because he was out sick last Friday. And if you're new here, the suppression hearings are happening right now. They're obviously pretrial hearings to determine if any pieces of evidence that were obtained in Pennsylvania during this backpack search that happened at a McDonald's, and also any other statements that Luigi made, if any of these can be inadmissible for the trial. And the whole crux of the argument is that the defense is saying that these should apply, or the search and seizure law should apply to New York law, because this whole investigation is tied to a New York investigation, and Pennsylvania and the prosecutors in New York, by the way, because this is Luigi Mangione's state trial, they are saying, oh, no, these crimes happened in Pennsylvania, so we are adhering to Pennsylvania search and seizure laws. We don't care about any New York investigation or anything like that. So day 6. We learned some things today from Canine Patrol Officer Fox. Now, Officer Fox helped do the backpack search at the McDonald's with Officer Wasser. Officer Christy Wasser was on the stand yesterday, which was Monday, the 8th. And what's interesting is that both of these officers, neither of them were technically called to the scene. So Wasser said, she kind of just showed up because she was worried when she called Detweiler, who was the first responding officer. And he said, oh, I can't talk right now, or I'm a little busy. And today, Fox indicated that he showed up at the McDonald's after hearing the 911 dispatch say that they couldn't find a match or locate a Mark Rosario, which was the ID, or the name on the fake ID that Luigi Mangione initially gave to police. So that's when he decided to go over there. And look, it was a lot of the same with Officer Fox. I mean, I will say my opinion was that he was the most confident and definitely the loudest in the microphone, like the loudest. Most confident, said yes or no, ma'am. At one point during the cross-examination, Karen Agnifilo was like spewing case law to him, Pennsylvania case law on search and seizure, and he actually spewed some case law back. And she's like, did you go to law school? And he's like, no, I didn't. And she wasn't saying it because she was impressed. She was just kind of, making a point. But yes, it was the state. Joel Seidemann, he's the lead prosecutor, reiterating that, the search happened after Mangione was arrested, after, he was Mirandized. And also he had Fox clarify this search and seizure would have happened. And he actually said this. He said, whether or not you were arresting someone for a nonviolent crime or the assassination of a CEO or for killing a CEO. And Karen Agnifilo is like, objection, Your Honor. I mean, it's crazy. It really is crazy. Seidemann, I got to say, he slips things in like that. I understand these are hearings. There's no jury, but there's media. We're reporting everything. And I guess for me, I'm kind of used to comments like this coming from the defense. I'm always like, ooh, sneaky. But this time I'm really finding that Seidemann's a bit sneaky. And, a jury, they're human. They're totally human, and they cannot unhear this stuff. So I do have a feeling that he might end up being a little bit of a problem come trial if he keeps this stuff up, because come on, he knows what he's doing. But anyway, so I guess a big issue, I shouldn't say issue, but basically it was my headline today, or part of my headline. So Fox, he escorted Luigi into his arraignment later that night on the 9th and then back out. And apparently Luigi screamed, and this is per Fox, and also his body cam, he said, had died at that point. So we don't know, we haven't heard this, with our own ears or for ourselves. And also I did find this interesting that he said that Luigi yelled this to press. I couldn't find this reported by press anywhere, so maybe they didn't hear it either at the time. But he said Luigi yelled when he was walking out of the arraignment, all you people are here for a mass murderer. Wild. And the mass murderer he was talking about was clearly he was referring to Brian Thompson. But I'm in court and I hear this and I just Google a picture just for context and effect. I just Google Luigi Mangione yelling. And there was a picture of him in his orange jumpsuit, I think from the next day when he yelled something to press and there was lip readers and people could sort of make out what he said. And I just posted that with the quote, like, you know, this is what he said per Officer Fox. He said, all these people here for a mass murderer, wild. Well, I got a lot of heat for that because it wasn't the correct photo, I guess, of him, which to me, I was like, yeah, no, you're right. I just added a photo for context. There's nothing more. I'm sitting there, I'm live tweeting. I'm ready to do a video at lunch for X, our LA Mag X account, you know, filing stories. Everyone's like, you're misleading us. You're trying to control a narrative. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, if I literally had the brain capacity right now to control a narrative, that would be wild. No, truly. So yeah, there was no narrative being controlled. But he also said after that Luigi, they were walking and Luigi kind of tripped on his feet a little bit because he's in shackles. And Fox said, you know, sorry about that. I didn't realize, you know, I forgot you were in shackles. And he said, Luigi said something like, oh, well, I better get used to it or something like that. So when the cross-examination happened, Karen Agnifilo pointed out that it was Officer Fox who Mirandized Luigi. And she's like, did you realize how fast you were going with the Miranda warnings? Like, do you always say them that fast? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, well, did you know that you said 98 words in 15 seconds? And he's like, oh. You know, she talked about how he left out the ending of the Miranda warning where the police are supposed to say, you know, with all that in mind, would you still like to speak with us or do you want to speak with us? Something along those lines. And he said, okay, you know, I left it out. I said XYZ instead. She also pointed out a few things about, again, the placement of the bag, the fact that nobody moved the bag, you know, for the first 13 minutes. And he certainly didn't move it initially when he walked in, even though he was concerned. She also talked about the search of explosives in the backpack, how, you know, she was like, well, if you thought there could be explosives, why didn't you go outside and search if you're so scared, this and that? And it all stems back to basically, why did you search him in the first place if he told the truth about his real name once you guys warned him about lying again? You know, if you use because he had given the Mark Rosario ID, and then when they couldn't find a match, they came back out and said, yeah, if you lie to us again, we're going to arrest you. She's like, well, he didn't. He told you the truth. Then you arrested him anyway. So there was a lot of that back and forth. She pointed out that Fox and Luigi had a conversation in the patrol car on the way to the arraignment where they were laughing a little bit. And Luigi just said, you know, this is a really nice town, really nice McDonald's. And Fox was like, yeah. And she's like, so you were laughing. And she also said, or it was brought up by Karen Agnifilo that Luigi expressed concern for the McDonald's manager if her name got out. He didn't want that for her. And he just said, you know, it could be bad. And she's like, did you feel like he was genuine? Because you wrote in your incident report that you felt like he was genuine. And Fox said something along the lines of, well, as genuine as basically a man who just assassinated, and I think he meant to say a CEO, but he said a man who just assassinated a CEO shooter could be. He obviously messed up what he was saying. And Karen Agnifilo was like, I moved to strike that. And I know there's no jury there, but I was shocked because Judge Caro was like, no, that'll stay. I was like, whoa. But okay, let me just really quickly play. There's newly released body cam footage. I just got to play this. Let's see for you guys before we end this podcast for today. Just came out. Just came out. I'm turning it up. Okay, it's all the way up. Is there okay, there is supposed to be sound. I'm not hearing anything. This is Officer Fry. This is his patrol car. I guess there is no sound. But like, why do we care about this if there's no sound? I'm just going to try one more thing because I did download this. Yeah, there's no sound. Okay. Just needed to confirm. All right. So it's a 2-minute clip and he's driving. I don't know. Okay, this is the McDonald's. I mean, I've seen this so many times. And Officer Fry, he was one of the first responding officers on the scene. I mean, I guess I don't understand the purpose of releasing this without sound. But I guess you'll get. Oh my gosh. Wow. That was brutal. Sorry, the sound was up when that happened. Okay, let me just point something out really quick why that happened. And I guess, I should have known, but they turn off their audio sometimes with the body cam. So, or they turn their body cam on and they said it takes a minute to pick up the sound. So.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. What's your name?
Mark.
What is it?
Mark.
Mark?
Yes, sir.
Mark what?
Rosario.
Rosario? Someone called. They thought you were suspicious.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you have your ID on you?
Yeah, yes, sir. Thanks.
Probably should look like someone guilty to.
So basically, Officer Detweiler lies to him.
26, 27, 29 out of New Jersey.
He lied that they got a call
Romeo,
up.
6807 521 00 07982. Should come back to a Mark Rosiano.
So yeah, he lied, said they got a call about loitering, and he had testified on the stand that he said this as to not make the suspect nervous, whatever. But Agnifilo points it out multiple times, so that wasn't true, was it? Anyway, guys, there's no court on Wednesday of this week, which is right now when you're watching this. So I will have other podcasts, 2 more podcasts at least, let's say, about Luigi before the end of this week. But don't forget to like and subscribe if you don't already. I'm Lauren Conlin. Thanks so much for watching LA Mag, our daily pop culture, scandals, and crime news pod.